Do you really lack the capacity? Or have you been trained to think so? Let's pause for a moment and look at something together. Have you ever felt like you don't have the capacity to deal with fear, anxiety, or emotional struggle? Not because you're incapable, but because you've been taught to believe you are? Think about it. Since childhood, society has quietly whispered, "You can't do this on your own." Religion says, "Let Jesus save you." Therapy says, "The analyst will help you." Education says, "The professor knows more than you." All around us, institutions, religious, academic, intellectual, have trained us to look outside of ourselves for the answer. And so what happens? You begin to believe you're incapable of meeting your inner world on your own. You've been discouraged subtly, systematically, from trusting your own perception. Now, let's ask, is this not the result of conditioning? Conditioning that's been drilled into us by systems that were never designed to liberate, but to control? Yes, it's uncomfortable, but it's also freeing once you see it. And when you do see it, really see it, you may say, like I do, I reject that. I reject the idea that someone else is going to solve my fear. Not the priest, not the pope, not the guru, not even the analyst. And here's the important part. I don't replace that with, "I'll solve it all myself," either. That too is a form of ego, another mask. No, I simply drop the whole idea that someone else, or even my separate self, is the one who solves. Now, ask yourself, what am I left with when I drop all that external dependence? The truth is, many of us feel we don't have the capacity. And the reason we feel incapable is because we've been educated to feel that way. But what if you're no longer bound by that conditioning? Are you free of it now? Be honest. Are you? Because if you are, something incredible happens. You're no longer dependent. Not emotionally, not intellectually, not spiritually. And that, my friends, is the beginning, not the end. Now someone may say, isn't that freedom enough? No, it's only step one. Freedom from this educated dependence is where we begin, but it opens the door to something much greater. Let's go deeper. Think about this. Why do we feel incapable in the first place? Because for years, decades, we've been told we can't do it alone. We've been told the answers lie in doctrines, diagnoses, or distant authority. So if you see this conditioning clearly, what do you experience in that moment of clarity? Freedom. And not because someone gave it to you, but because you saw the whole game, the whole manipulation for what it is. And that very seeing is intelligence. Not your intelligence or my intelligence. It is pure intelligence, the kind that arises naturally when the mind is no longer enslaved. Let me ask you this. When you questioned everything through doubt, through inquiry, what remained? You. Awake, aware, and in that awareness, something shifts. You are no longer asking for permission to be intelligent. You are intelligence in motion. It's not about becoming someone new. It's not about adding layers. It's about peeling back what's been layered on you. That seeing, that spark that says, this is not mine and I won't carry it anymore. That's the beginning of capacity. That's the beginning of inner clarity. That's when learning truly begins. It's not personal intelligence. It's not ego-based smarts. It's a happening. a movement, a living presence of truth, not tied to you or me, but something far more universal. And yes, it uses the brain, but not to calculate or analyze. It uses the brain to see clearly what has dulled it all these years, to see how intellectual systems, religious hierarchies, and psychological authorities have made us doubt ourselves. And when you see it fully clearly, that seeing is the awakening of intelligence, not belief, not blind hope, but a direct recognition of what's been happening, and a conscious refusal to be dulled any longer. That moment, that's yours. That's freedom. And that, my friends, is when your true capacity begins to unfold.